Hello, we're back again with another survival video. My gosh, you suppose survival's the right word for it? All we're talking about is getting along out there in the world. I mean, that's not too difficult, but it could be under the right circumstances, which is what you don't want to happen. Well, this little chat is going to be about in public spaces everywhere. Last one was about restaurants particularly. Well, I'm afraid this one covers a lot more. Let the buyer beware. Or, to say it in another simple way, once you walk out that front door, you're fair game for anything. Now, that sounds harsh, sounds rough, but it's life, and I can't do a thing about it. Neither can you. Once you step out your front door, lots of things, anything can happen. A meteorite could smash your city. Then what you gonna do? Who you gonna call? You see what I mean? We're not guaranteed nothing. We're not guaranteed our next minute. So, I hope you're living as, the only sure thing you got is happening right this very second in your life. That may not be very comforting to you, but it's better than living under a false sense of security, isn't it? I don't know what else to tell you about that except enjoy the moment, because that's what you got. Now, survival. That just means getting a long day, but if you live out in the Midwest, even as far in as April, you can get caught and stranded out on I-40 in a blizzard. Yeah, in April. These things can happen. You didn't ask for it. Maybe you had no choice. Maybe you was coming from California to North Carolina on I-40. And, well, everything just went nuts on you. You got your blankets and flashlights and water, bottles of water and other goodies that you need in your car. If not, then you weren't prepared to survive. You weren't. Just you're hoping nothing would happen, hoping that the weather wouldn't change. That's not going to take you very far, and you know that. So stop acting like you don't know that. Prepare for it. Be ready. That's your responsibility. It's not the highway patrol's responsibility that you went out there unprepared. It's not their fault. If they don't get to you in time, and my God, the way that weather piles up out there, and snow and blizzard and blowing white across the surface of the ground, you just can't blame everybody. You have to take your own responsibility. I think most of you know that, but we always have some that don't. They just don't think about these things. So, you're the ones I'm talking to. Don't let that happen, and don't blame other people for it if you get caught in the middle of it. It's because you didn't prepare right. That's what happened. Now, as y'all know, I am basically trying to help the transgender people, in particularly with their survival issues. So let me get right into that. Try to balance this microphone so I don't lose it. Okay, now a lot can go wrong out there in public. A lot can go wrong. A lot more than you even probably thought of on your own. Alright, I've already mentioned maybe coming from California to North Carolina on I-40. Some states, like North Carolina, now I don't know if they still enforce it or not, but they don't want transgender people using their bathrooms. They plainly don't. Because either bathroom you use, you're going to be, well, from a lack of a better word, you're fucked. If they want to mess with you, if the cops want to mess with you, they've already got laws against whichever bathroom you want to use. You say, well, if you stick to using your birth gender, you're okay. Well, no, you're really not, because you may get your ass beat or killed. My original birth certificate says male. If I go into a male restroom like this in North Carolina, which is where they require it, I better be packing heavy. And don't you doubt, I do. But I ain't going into a male restroom anyway. I'm going in the female restroom. And if anybody tries to kick open or throw open my stall door, they're going to be staring down the barrel of a 12-gauge flare gun. And I'm going to make it a point to shoot them in the stomach with it, because I want to see it burn a hole clean through them. And they will be shouting and screaming their ass off until they finally die. You're not going to mess with me. You're just not going to do it. And I'm putting this on video so any other transgender that don't want to be messed with can make their choices. You can buy that flare gun at Walmart in the sporting good department. It don't cost you a permit. It costs you $40, 39 something dollars to buy it with no permit. And you can keep it in your pocketbook. Keep you some extra shells with it. 12 gauge, like a shotgun. But it's not a shotgun. No. This shoots a white phosphorus flare. Or a red phosphorus flare. It's white phosphorus. And once it ignites with air, it starts burning, and it will not stop burning unless you deprive it of air. And you shoot somebody in the stomach with that, it will not stop burning until it burns a hole clean through them. That is a terrible way to have to die. But if you kick my door open, you're going to get what you get. Don't do it. Leave me alone. I don't want to have to use it on nobody. Don't start nothing, won't be nothing. That's my motto. One of them. I got several mottos, but that's one of them. Don't start nothing, won't be nothing. Now, I know this sounds a bit drastic to you, but somebody has to draw a line somewhere. If I can't pee in peace, then you're not going to do anything in peace either. Your peace is over with. Finished. Leave me alone. Especially if I got to go potty. You shouldn't be in there anyway, because I'm going to be in the women's room. And most women, they're not going to bother me. They don't care. They really don't care. You're just coming in there to start trouble. I know why you're coming in, and I'm ready for you. I stay ready for you other different ways too. I really do. I just stay ready all the time, because you never know what's coming out after me. That's in my bra. And I've already showed you on another video what this is good for. It's good for digging in right here into your throat and just ripping the whole throat out. This is made to wrap around things. It's made to puncture things and pull things. And it will pull your whole throat out in one slash. You don't want to have to mess with this. Leave people like me alone. We think outside the box. We don't think about things the way you do. Okay? That's the second time I've showed this knife. And I've showed you right where it stays. Sometimes I lose a sheath for it, but it's still right here. I'm going to show you how. You've never seen the sheath before. Well, today you saw the sheath. That's what it stays in. It don't cut my boob or nothing. It's just right there ready. Now, okay, for transgender survival, don't go to, if you can avoid it, just don't go to public restrooms. That's your best bet. If you can hold it. I mean, really. It is the best way. I know, traveling like on I-40, I've never liked stopping at restrooms anyway. If I need to stop somewhere, I mean that those travel center rest places that they have, I don't use those. I go to somewhere like Wendy's or McDonald's or something and use their bathroom. They're not going to bother you. I go someplace like that. I don't use those rest stops along the freeway. That's just asking for trouble, because there's just too much that can happen there, and most people are not ready for trouble. They're just not ready for trouble. Well, don't ask for it. Don't go there. Leave them alone. Let the state keep them up for nothing. Let the nice elderly grandparents that's got kids with them and let them use those travel places. You don't need to be using that anyway, unless it's just a dire emergency. Try to keep from getting in those situations of a dire emergency if you can, unless you're incontinent and then you can't. Well, you might want to think about the Depend diapers or something to help get you where you're going. Now, vehicles. Your security in a vehicle. You're better off in a hatch top like I am than a convertible. A convertible, people can cut those open and come in after you, or come in and get your stuff if you're not there. I mean, that's just common sense. Convertibles can be nice, but it depends on where you live. You take that into consideration before you purchase a convertible. I have a hatch top. I like the convertible concept, but I like hatch top a lot better. It's more secure too. And it comes with a roll bar if you've got a hatch top. You've got a roof and everything there too. I know people can break in cars and steal cars, that you can't really stop them if they know what they're doing. I know that. Well, there's one thing that can help you, and that's if they see you have an alarm and there's a light flashing on the dash, but the pros can still get past that. I guess probably the best thing is a low jack, what they call a low jack, that the cops can monitor where that car went. And everybody, the the big thing about a low jack is where you put it, so the car thieves don't see it right away. But anyway, that's for transgender people. Survival is, well, now here's some things to consider. First of all, if you are transgender, most people don't really pay any attention to me because I fit in pretty well as a woman. They don't really look at me that close. But now if we get 3 or 4 transgender women together, not everybody passes real well. And what happens is the more transgender women you have together, least likely any of you are going to have a passing. The reason is, like I just said, you don't all share the same qualities. All of you don't know how to take care of yourselves as good as the next girl right next to you. You're just not passing right. If that's a big thing to you, well, just know that the more girls you have with you like that, the least that you're going to pass, because you're going to be spotted as, well, they're going to call you a bunch of freaks. But we know you're not freaks. We know that. But the public out there, many of them are so uneducated, but there are a lot of them that are getting a lot more compassionate than they were. But still, some of them out there, the redneckish type, they don't know how to appreciate anything, much less transgender people. They don't know how to appreciate you. And they're going to poke fun or whatever, or worse. So, what we want to do is spot trouble before it gets to your front door, so to speak. I'm not talking about your home door. I'm talking about before it gets in your face. If you can do that, then you stand a chance of getting away without getting hurt. If you have a hard time deciphering for yourself in your head whether trouble's coming or not, you've probably been assaulted a few times. You've gotten yourself in situations that you shouldn't have been in, or you didn't know how to get out of. You stayed too long. Don't stay too long. If you smell trouble, don't get up and run, but just kind of back your way slowly out of the situation. Suddenly you need to go somewhere. You've got car trouble, or you need to go pick up your grandmother, take her shopping or something. You need to go do something else. You don't need to be getting in trouble. Okay? That helps if you can detect it in time. Prevention is worth it. And here's another thing. Now, I've discussed using deadly force before, but here's something that the law would like. The law almost requires you to do this. Now, I'm not going to say the judge won't have mercy on you if you don't, but I am saying this. The law requires that you make a reasonable effort to get away from the situation. Because if you're standing there before the judge in court, you don't want him to ask you, well, if you saw this coming, why didn't you just head for the door and make an effort to get away? You didn't have to stand there and go through that, did you? He's going to ask you that. He's not dumb. Your answers to the judge is what counts. And I don't care for no jury trial, ever. Not that I don't trust them. They're not competent enough to. Do you really want 12 people determining your future? Really? You sure? Half of them don't even know the law. Nearest thing to the law they ever got was Perry Mason. But the judge is smart. He's not dumb. He knows things can go horribly wrong. He's heard all the stories. He knows, well, you've seen them on TV, like Judge Judy and those characters. You've heard them. You've seen them. They can ask you some pretty embarrassing questions. It'd be nice if you said, well, yes, Your Honor, I was going for the door and somebody tripped me, or, they didn't want me to get away. But if you didn't make the effort to try to stop what was going to happen next, if you just let it happen and didn't even try, any common sense person, especially a judge, they're going to say, well, why? Why did you just stand there and let it happen? Why did you not try to get away or get out of the situation, which is what common sense tells you to do. Get out of the situation if you can. Now, there was a time in my life when I had like some 70s model Pinto, little tiny Ford Pinto, and it had engine troubles, and I got hit making a left turn, not once but twice, in that little car, and by the second time it happened, it was just really tore up bad, and I couldn't drive it anymore. So I had to walk everywhere I went. Yeah. And sometimes people stop to pick me up to take me places. Well, these two guys did that one time. I'm not going to tell you what city it was in, because I still don't know the end results of it. But anyway, they look like two bikers or drug dealers. I'm not sure which, because they do look, sometimes they're the same, Well, they offered me a ride in this 66 or 67 Chevrolet Impala. Big old boat of a car. And I was just lucky it had four doors. Well, I got in the back seat and I sat there on the passenger side next to the curb, But these other two, the driver and his buddy, were sitting up front. And they didn't say much, they didn't make it clear why they even picked me up. But we got down the street, and we come up on the 7-Eleven back in that time. They had 7-Eleven around a whole lot in different areas of the country. And I said, well, y'all can let me out here. Oh, really? This guy, the driver, now this was the driver that did this. He come up with a big old 1911 Army Colt 45 pistol, because I know what they are and I know what they look like. And he showed it to me and he said, no, you're going with us. We're not taking you to 7-Eleven. That's Copland. You're going with us. And when we get there, you better be a woman. Oh. Ooh. Things got serious quick, didn't it? Yeah. I better be a woman. Or what? They didn't say what. But he had that 45 up like he meant business. And said, don't you try to get out of the car. Well, I didn't have much choice. I had some heels on. They weren't real high heels or nothing, but they're not something you jump out of a car in. So I very quietly took one foot and slid each shoe off my feet. So I was barefoot. And when he slowed down for a stoplight, I didn't wait for him to stop at the stoplight. I already had my hand. Like I said, I am just lucky that I was in the back seat by myself. Don't you ever get in the middle seat, in the front seat between two guys? Oh, you're gone. If you do, don't let them ever do you that way. If you have to hitch a ride, you never get between two guys in the front seat, and that includes for a pickup truck. Just turn down the ride. Do not get between two guys in the front seat, or you're trapped. You're not going anywhere. So anyway, here I am back here. I've got my hand on the door handle. I'm just lucky that it's one of those, if I remember right, it's one of those that you yank up on and the door opens. I don't remember exactly, but I think that's how it worked. And I took my right foot, which was right next to the door, and grabbed hold of that door handle. I waited till the car got down to about 20 miles an hour. And then I yanked up on it and I kicked it open with that foot, and I was out of that. I was still hanging on to the door when I hit the road out there on both feet. And I hurt my right toe, big toe, kind of made it bleed a little bit on the pavement when I had to jump out. But that was better than waiting in there to see what these two had planned. I'm telling you this because you don't know. You just don't know when it's your turn. Well, I let them know that I wasn't going to go quietly. All right, I got out, and at the place, I was familiar with the place where I got out at. I was pretty well familiar with it. Just lucky, I was lucky on that count too. Now, why I'm telling you this is I made an effort to get out of the situation. The law requires you to escape if you can, whatever these situations are. You need to remember that. You need to get out of that. So I did. And I was going to let it go. I didn't get his license number or nothing. But then, there's always a but then, isn't there? This guy, he didn't let it go. He took that big boat of a car of his and wheeled it around slowly over. Instead of stopping at the stoplight, we were at a service station. I'm not going to say what kind it was. We were at a service station. And he just pulled right in the service station's parking lot. And he gets out of his car with that fat ass belly of his and leans across the roof, pointing that 45 over at me. Well, I know what a 45 does. It's a big fat slug. And I got behind a big ass telephone pole. That's what I was behind. I was barefoot, had my pocketbook with me. I said, well, I guess this is going to go deeper than I can than I counted on. So out of my pocketbook, I pulled my .25 automatic and the bullets in it. I know .25s are bad to jam, and mine did jam after the third shot. I put 3 shots down on top of him, and I shot first. I didn't wait. Let him know that I had something that, if we got to do business, you better be ready. Because my little old .25 caliber ammunition had been dipped in urine for 3 days. You know what urine does to lead? It turns it into instant blood poisoning if you get hit with it. And that don't matter where. I could have hit him in the arm or the leg or the waist or grazed his cheek, and he would have gotten blood poisoning from it. And with that kind of blood poison, sometimes you don't last till the ambulance gets to you. It'll kill you quick. In other words, I didn't intend for whoever I shot to stay alive if they made me use that pistol on them. So that's what you're dealing with somebody like me that's been trained. Yeah, I did. I had a container that I set all those .25 caliber rounds in, and just the very tips of them were resting in my own urine for 3 days, which contaminated them and made them very deadly. Lead and urine don't work good together. You've got poison round ammunition. It's about like there's poison tree frogs in South America. So I'm just telling you that you don't know when trouble's going to spring up, and you're either ready for it or you're not. Now, that really happened. I'm not telling you the street. I'm not telling you the city. I'm not telling you the state that it even happened in. But it really happened. And if I did hit anybody, I couldn't tell it because it was dark. It was about 9 o'clock at night. And it was right at, I don't know, the sun had gone down. But it's a situation there where that's one of them put up or shut up deals. You're either ready or you ain't ready. But my pistol jammed after the third shot, and I couldn't let him know that it jammed. And then he hollered at me, and then I figured out, well, now I know why they're zeroing in on me. He said, "Are you a man or a woman?" What? It kind of surprised me. I don't know why it did, but it kind of surprised me. I just hollered back at him, "It doesn't matter, does it? We're not going to fuck anyway." So I took off. I backed up. Okay, I was behind the telephone pole. I backed up straight from the telephone pole across the road to behind some houses, and he didn't have a clear shot at me any of those times that I was backing up. So I got down the street from him to a karate place. I walked in there. They were having class, and I asked them if somebody could help me. Nobody volunteered to help me at all. Oh, okay. Here, I just been through what y'all are training for, and you don't want to help a sister. All right, don't. I went out, and back when this happened, they still had phone booths. So I found me a phone booth and called me a taxi and rode to my house. Where I was staying. So when things go down, you're just on your own, basically. That's just about the way it is. And rather than get the cops involved, I did what I had to do. And as I said, I don't think anybody got hurt out of it. Because my 3 shots, I think all 3 missed. They shouldn't have, but I think they did. I didn't. The next few days, I didn't see where anything had been reported in the paper that somebody was shot with poison-tipped bullets. I didn't hear any of that, so I must have missed him. He's a lucky guy. But, well, I'm lucky too. He could have shot me when he held that big pistol up over the seat, that 45. He could have shot me then. I don't know. It's just the way life goes. All right, this is 35 minutes. I went 5 minutes over what I normally do. But there you are. There's survival tape number 5, I guess. Hope you enjoyed it. And there'll be more. I've got a lot of stories to tell you if you want to hear them. And they're real. I don't have to make this stuff up. It really happened to me. And some of it I don't look good in because it's kind of hard to be prepared for everything. But I try. But sometimes I come up short. But I guess we all do, don't we? At least I've tried. Some of y'all got beat up and didn't even try. I know you did because I've talked to you. So, okay. I'm going to shut this one off now. It's 37 minutes. Ooh, that's stretching it. All right. Bye-bye.